All right, we're going ahead and getting started. What's up, everybody? Hope you are doing well today. I'm doing something different. I am going live on both YouTube and LinkedIn. Thought this would be a good change of pace. And today we're going to be discussing Elon Musk and XAI or Grok AI and how I believe it may take over some government jobs. If you do not know anything that's going on in the news right now, but if you go on to Twitter or X, you will see an advertisement for the new Grok AI, the Grok 3 AI. And with that advertisement, you also have a lot of people who are getting laid off from government jobs. So this topic about will jobs be replaced by AI has been going on for a while, but now you're starting to see a little bit of things coming true in the sense of you're seeing people getting laid off, and then you're also seeing the advertisement for more AI tools. So I have a guest with me today to discuss this. Before I bring them up, I want to introduce myself for the people who may not know. My name is William Orgetrice. I am the founder and CEO of Before the Billions. I've been going live and making videos on YouTube for 5 years now. And overall, I have had a fantastic time making videos as a experienced data engineer in multiple different industries, so I can bring my expertise and experience to you guys and let you know from a technical person's perspective. So let me go ahead and bring up my guest. Let me see. Hey, Marcus, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you just fine. What's going on, William?
What's up, man? Let me put on my headphones real quick so I can hear you better. Yeah, Marcus, I was talking to you yesterday and wanted to, pick your brain on this topic. What do you think about this? Have you heard any new news about it? But first, before we get into it, do you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Absolutely. My name is Marcus Piper. I am a tech founder here in Atlanta, also owner of Catalytic Consulting. We're a data infrastructure and AI consulting services firm, and also I am a supervisor of data engineering at a large company.
Right. Well, I appreciate you coming up here, Marcus. I think it's going to be an important discussion because I know a lot of people are going to be affected by it. And it also plays a huge role in how we view AI and also the job market, because it was always said that, getting a government job is generally considered safe, but then you're seeing a lot of things in the news where a lot of people are getting laid off. So it's a lot of overlap with the job market, but then also an overlap with the AI piece. First off, before we get into anything, I wanted to pull up an article from the Wall Street Journal, and then I'm not going to read through the whole thing. Just kind of wanted to bring it up, and we can kind of discuss what it's talking about. So let me share my screen. Boom. Whenever that pops up. Let me do it like this because I have to present, share screen, and this is it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this is the article from Wall Street Journal. It is Elon Musk's XAI launches Grok 3 chatbot as it races to catch rivals. So we saw recently, I made a few videos. I gave a speech actually last month about DeepSeek. DeepSeek is an LLM or large language model that is ran by a Chinese company, and it caused a lot of issues in the stock market in the United States. Trillions of dollars lost from large companies. So now we're seeing where Elon Musk and X are launching their AI chatbot, well, their newest version of the AI chatbot. First off, Marcus, um, are you familiar with Grok 3 or Grok in general?
Yeah, so I also had an article about DeepSeek that they were talking about its the ability to disrupt. And I had actually downloaded Grok 2 maybe like a week or two ago to give it a shot because I've heard it was pretty good. Because there's a certain degree of compute, or they call it brain power, but it really is the ability of how many cores this thing can process. They were talking about how Grok 3 kind of blows OpenAI out of the water. So I actually did a little bit of an assessment myself a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Did you have any findings from that? Did you see if it was any better based off of your analysis?
No, I don't think it's much better. I mean, I think so. Here's what. So let me give a little background, if you don't mind. Let me take a little journey
Yeah.
here. Right? So what's going on? So you said in the government and the private sector, which is correct. But why, right? So the nature of the United States ecosystem, we're a capitalist economy. That means we let competition drive free market. Well, when capitalism is a pillar, even though it's like kind of like predatory capitalism, when capitalism is a pillar of society, you find power shifting towards businesses. We saw it in the Industrial Revolution. It was factories. In the agrarian agriculture society, it was farmers that had the power, right? Because you see certain laws that were around farming. Well, now it's in software as a service, platform as a service, technology based businesses, right? So this was bound to happen, given the fact that government had largely been incubated from shifts in technology. But as we become more capitalistic, eventually one of the reigning fuel of capitalism, right? Whether it's industry, agriculture, and now technology, was eventually going to have infrastructure. That's why we've seen more lobbying, we've seen more laws that favor businesses, right? So this was going to happen anyway, whether it was tech or not. Just the nature of capitalism being such a fundamental part of the American ecosystem, which is why, and Trump, right? I mean, our president is a capitalist, true and through, right? He's a businessman. He's not necessarily a politician. That's why he was elected, and so of course he respects another great businessman, Elon Musk. Do I think it's going to cause governments to use jobs? Well, I mean, so I had to do a little bit of a study on Elon Musk, like in business school, and yes, every company he starts, he does huge cuts first. He has a background in physics and finance and economics, so that kind of leads him to look at the bottom line a lot with people. Um, the question is, do I think he'll have successful innovation in the AI space? I don't know. Um, Elon Musk, with his background in physics, SpaceX and Tesla make sense. Um, those lean on his physics expertise, but just because he's a great physicist does not mean he's a great computer scientist. And his ability to he's a little bit out of his depth in this area, as I would say, opposed to someone like Bill Gates or someone that came up in the technological space. So it'll be determined not by the cuts are one thing, but it'll be determined by his understanding really of data infrastructure, and that I can't speak to. I wouldn't say that's apparent in his background.
Yeah, there's a lot, and he's involved in a lot of different things. Elon Musk, owner isn't he? He's the owner of Tesla,
SpaceX,
SpaceX, X, and a few other organizations. If I'm
oh,
not wrong,
PayPal. Yeah, he got his money. It was either PayPal, some
yeah, he started
organization
with
that
PayPal, I
became
believe.
PayPal or something.
Yeah, a lot of the big people that we see now are coming from PayPal. A lot of them, and it's really interesting. Also, he was really good friends with Sam Altman before you know OpenAI really took off, and
I
now
wasn't
he's the
aware.
owner of X. Yeah, he actually he was a co-founder of OpenAI.
Hmm.
So I made a video about that a little like last month, talking about how Elon Musk was a co-founder for OpenAI, and then now he is also running his own AI to compete, and that's actually what this article is about. So let's go into it a little bit, and then we kind of give our discussion.
Okay.
I want to give a shout out to MJ Cannabis. All right, thank you for tuning in. You won the #1 spot. And yes, he says the PayPal Mafia. Okay, so, and also for people who don't know, I know it's new to LinkedIn, but I've been doing YouTube for a while. The #1 spot is the first person that I see in the chat. I don't have the #1 spot set up. I play like a song, and you can like hear what's like playing the song #1 spot by Ludacris. All right, so Elon Musk's AI. So let's go through maybe the first 3 paragraphs, and then we kind of give our discussion based off of it. So let me zoom in a little bit. Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company XAI unveiled an improved version of his Grok chatbot and the model that powers it late Monday, marking his latest effort to catch up with established competitors, including OpenAI. And see, there's that part, the competitor to OpenAI. He also made a bid on OpenAI to stop them from getting rid of their nonprofit arm of OpenAI. I believe it was 94. It was a 94 billion or something like that of a bid. So Musk and several engineers launched the new system called Grok 3 during a live stream on X. They also showed a product called Deep Search, described as an AI-powered search engine and a voice assistant feature that will be released soon. Musk co-founded OpenAI in 2015, left in 2018, and launched XAI in 2023 after the breakout success of ChatGPT. Since then, he has quickly recruited talent, raised billions of dollars from investors, and built a massive new data center in Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, so a lot of information right there. We kind of went over some of the stuff, but anything that sticks out to you in that part of the article?
Uh, Mainly that he's following the trend of what I would say you wouldn't do if you were competing against Elon Musk. Like, so what made Tesla successful is, I think, make an electric car, make it cheaper than that. So he pretty much was the disruptive innovation in the car manufacturing industry. If you're acknowledging, which all of us believe, OpenAI is the first one that really got it, like they really got it right. Um, I guess we'd have to look at how many times has someone been the second or third person to jump on a wave and beat the first one that was on it. I mean, no one's beat Elon at that. So I think he has the money and the resources, but he's also spread. Like you mentioned something, I forgot he bought X. I forgot
Mm-hmm.
all about that.
He was actually forced to buy X. Well, Twitter at the time.
Yeah,
He was, yeah. He said, oh, he made some statement on Twitter saying he could make it better or he could buy it, and then I think it was Congress who said, oh, that sounds like a bid. You have to go ahead and purchase Twitter, and he spent billions of dollars on it, despite Twitter being at the time, I believe it was only 9 billion in valuation. So he had to spend more money than what it was worth.
okay.
Before we go further, let me give a huge shout out to Professor Black Ops. I was just on his panel last night. Wealth of knowledge, over 30 years of experience in multiple different industries, cybersecurity and data. I want to give a huge shout out to him, and then also my #1 moderator, Gail at Night. Thank you so much for tuning in. So go ahead, Marcus. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just had to give a shout out to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. I had a question for you based on, so you kind of educated me. So I have a question for you. Like
Yeah.
you're also like, we're both founders and we're working like, so given the stress you and I both know of being a founder, right?
Yes.
How successful can one be when you're running three companies? At what point
But
do you start stressed? Like,
spread thin.
yes, yes, because I mean, what would you say towards that?
I would say it is very difficult to do. Like, I learned this in chess, okay, as an example.
Okay.
For the people who may not have ever played chess before, but understand that if you can do two things in one move, it is a good thing. But if you're doing two or three things all at the same time, but it just makes it more chaotic. One move to do two things. So if you are the owner of several different organizations, it makes it hard for your time to be well spent on any one particular thing. So if that's the case, and that also came out with an article, I want to say a few years ago, where I believe it was Tesla. Tesla came up with an article saying that Elon Musk was spending too much time on X, but not with Tesla. So I believe they are seeing some issues with that. Plus, he has a lot of kids too. That's another thing. So he has a family, he has a social life, he has several different organizations. You know, it's a lot going on.
So, and okay, to piggyback, I agree. So to piggyback off that, right?
Mhm.
Rivian, Rivian has not been able to catch Tesla. But if he's running, if all his focus is now on XAI, what might his competitors for Tesla be thinking? You think they might perceive that as an opportunity?
Yes, I believe so. In any way, like there's always opportunities with whatever challenge comes up. Opportunity presents itself.
Hmm.
So you'll see, like, and I've heard the Tesla stock just completely like dropped recently,
It did.
probably with everything going on, right? But
Yep.
I believe that Tesla is also a huge, like, I think they get like government, like, what do you call it, cutbacks or something like that,
Yep.
because of the energy efficient cars. Like that's why they make,
Sustainability. Yep.
right. That's how they make so much more money. But yeah, they get a lot of money from the government. With that being said, a CEO who is only focused on, like, the CEO of Rivian, I believe that's it. Like, he is the CEO of Rivian, so he can spend all his time and focus and strategy on that one thing. It can be extremely difficult if you're having different industries that you're the CEO of all at the same time.
Competing against you now.
Competing,
Now you
yes.
got OpenAI that is actively competing. You have SpaceX doesn't have a competitor, I don't think, because maybe NASA. I'm not sure who else is putting stuff in space. But on he definitely has competition in the social media space, the electric car space, and the artificial intelligence space. And now
Hmm.
he's running, what is it, Doge, which is Department of Governmental Efficiency. Like he's actually causing cuts in the government and stuff. So like I think the biggest thing is he might be spread too thin to master a space.
Hmm. I agree. I completely agree. But it also has made him a lot of money. He is actually his.
Yeah.
I believe right now he is the wealthiest man in the world right now. It has made him a lot of money through assets.
Yeah.
Um, with that being said, I believe. Oh, you know what? This is a good point. So let's continue down the article because there's a point in here that I wanted to bring up. So I'll read the next, like, probably three paragraphs.
Okay.
So it goes almost to your point. So Musk and a group of investors last week made an unsolicited $97.4 billion bid, and this is what I was talking about with OpenAI for the assets of the nonprofit that controls OpenAI, which its board quickly rejected. He is also suing the company and its chief executive, Sam Altman. Several tech executives and analysis praised XAI's new model, while some added that thorough evaluations will take time. Grok 3 appears to be a state of the art frontier model. The chief executive of AI app development company Replit. I've heard of Replit before. This is a huge accomplishment, especially considering how late in the game they started. So, to add on to the amount of things that he is involved in, he's also suing. It says he's suing OpenAI, but he is the CEO of X, which is not only a AI company, it's a tech company too. So you also have the application in itself that you're the CEO of and managing, but then also this new innovation, which is the AI chatbot.
Yep.
So even within one specific, it can be one specific company in one specific industry, which is, I guess, X would be in the tech industry. Now you have the AI space within the tech industry, but then also the social media space within tech. So that's another point, to your point, about how spread thin or hard it would be for somebody to be successful with all those things going on. A lot of chaos.
Yes, I agree. And I think, like I said, with the background in physics, his ability to make Tesla so innovative makes sense. He was a great physicist, and his ability to do things in SpaceX makes sense. He's a great physicist. That doesn't necessarily transfer quite as well one to one into the social media space, which requires a little bit of understand of like generational trends of things of that nature and how people prefer to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
and the AI space, which requires a bit more understanding of data engineering and computer science concepts.
Right. Yeah, man. I think overall, like, because we're computer scientists at the end of the day, so we can understand. Like right now, my role as a data engineer, I provide the data to the AI models, but
You do more
I
than
would
that.
never. I do more than that, but
You do more than that.
but still, right? You know, simplify it, right? I provide,
Yeah.
I move data from one place to the other. Simple way of saying it for the
Yeah.
audience. But I would never go out there and say, hey, you know what? I know all the inner workings of how the AI works. Like I'm interested in it, but I would never say, hey, I'm the subject matter expert for all things AI.
Yeah.
Same thing when you just said as a physicist, you may know a lot about physics. You may know a lot about like a lot of the laws and everything relating to like space travel and stuff like that. But can you also effectively be able to run a government agency, a social media platform, and also the physics side, which is the SpaceX and Tesla?
Exactly.
So, what is it called? So, there's a story, and it kind of goes like this. I'll change the interpretation of it, but the gist of it is that if you want somebody to be able to give you like the highest priced gold or be able to identify the highest priced gold, you would go to a jeweler. If you want somebody who has all the inner workings of how to fix your plumbing system, you would go to a plumber. You have to go to someone who has a specialty in that one particular thing. Also, quick note is that whenever you're investing your money into a company, you may not be investing your money into that specific company. A lot of the time, you're betting on the man who is running the company and his vision. Oh, sorry, not only him, but him or her, either their vision, right?
You're buying into
Because
the visionary. You're correct. I agree.
right, Right. So I had to say, because there are women CEOs, but yeah, I think that's you're betting on the visionary, and as long as they have the subject matter in their brain that they have experience with it, it makes it easier for you to see success with that organization.
And I would even say, I'll be honest, if we're talking about AI innovations, if I'm open AI, I'm not as worried about Grok. I believe there's an elephant in the room by the name of Anthropic. Claude is about to drop their new version, and Claude AI is nice. Claude AI is,
Oh yeah.
depending on what you want, they are. I use them both. Like Claude, I think Claude is actually a little better at coding and
Hmm.
maybe numerical analysis.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that if I'm trying to do some code, I'm gonna go to Claude. I'll
I'm
just
going
be
to
honest with
Claude.
you.
Claude is
I'm gonna go to
Claude is
Claude.
solid. Claude is very
Yeah,
solid.
yeah, and I use it. I use it for coding, but then also mathematics too. It's also really good at math. But
Very
I
good.
don't use it for like writing per se. May
No,
not
see,
use it for writing, but I'll use like ChatGPT for like writing. I think that to me seems the best.
it
And like
is.
if I wanna like look up something, I'll use like a Gemini or something like that because it's directly connected to Google and the internet. Makes it easier for that. But that's just my thing. I think there is a either a spreadsheet or a list
That tells you
that
which ones. Yep.
yeah which ones to go with.
Yeah, you're correct. So Claude does a little bit better of quantitative reasoning. It's tailored that way. OpenAI is better at being creative in general. It's better at image generation. When you don't know what you want, OpenAI is very good at trying to figure out what you want.
Right.
Claude is better when you are looking for a very specific analysis.
Oh yeah, I agree. And I don't know what X is good at. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. I
I
think
tried it. I went. I used Claude 2 for a little bit. I play with
okay.
all the new ones. I do for a little while, but um right now it's OpenAI and Claude. I'm really looking forward to the next Claude release. I really am.
Right.
I want to see what that does.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I mean, and also I saw an article. Yeah, of course, like DeepSeek. I think DeepSeek is good at being cheaper,
Yeah,
right? I think that's what it. I think that's its wheelhouse. Not necessarily better than the other ones, but it is cheaper.
yeah.
But in addition to that, there was an article that was talking about how this OpenAI is actually losing money on their subscription model for the pro version of ChatGPT. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, okay, well, they're not actually charging enough.
It's because the free. So every time so I think 4.0 is the standard model. They're doing 3.0 and 3.0 mini are the new more advanced reasoning models. But every time they upgrade a new model, the free model gets better. They're innovating too fast. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the free version of ChatGPT is actually very good. Because I think they're retiring. I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to bet they're retiring a legacy model. And every time, like eventually 4.0, the model we're using the most right now will be the free tier.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm actually really I don't know. I'm waiting on GPT to drop Sora AI. That is what I when that becomes open.
Mm-hmm.
That is gonna be interesting. Like, so I can just put in some prompts and you're gonna create a movie for me. Yeah, I'm waiting
Would
on that to come.
Would you use something like Olama for that? Like if you wanted to put it on your own computer, like a
I am
container?
not sure. You got to tell me what Olama is. You got to help me out.
Yeah. So from I can actually share my screen about it too. My understanding of Olama is that it is for open source AI large language models. So here is my screen. That is not the right screen. Okay, this. So this is my Google. So I just Googled it up. Googled it up. So you can download this locally on your computer and run large language models.
Okay.
So you can actually run like a DeepSeek. So I saw some people using DeepSeek. So you can go to like their GitHub, see what they have available. Let me share this tab instead. Here's their GitHub, and it's just all open source. You can use it for Mac OS, Windows, and here are just some of the models that they have available.
Okay. So you can do custom LLM creation at like more a more granular level.
Yeah. You know what? Now looking at this, I had to think about it. I don't believe that you can do it with XAI or with Grok, because I don't think that is open source.
No, I mean that sounds like Elon Musk. He wouldn't make it open source. He's a capitalist. He wants to make the most money off of.
You right about that. You are right about.
He's gonna make the most money. He's not gonna do open source.
Let me see. I'm just curious to see if they even have. They do. They do have an instance of Grok One. Let me just share my screen.
Because I think Grok 3 is actually locked behind the paid subscription service of X. So you have to do an upgraded, if I remember correctly, you have to do an upgraded tier of X to even get Grok 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tried to download.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true or not, but it does say. I just looked it up right quick. It's like Grok One, but that's old. It's the older version of it. They're on Grok 3 now. So they do have some more models as well. But as you can see, DeepSeek is the number one.
Yeah. You gotta send me that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this is what I see. And of course, I agree with you on the sense of they are capitalists. They're trying to make the money off of these applications. That's really what it is the application. The reason why I bring up Olama is because during my speech about DeepSeek, somebody asked me the question, oh, could I put this into Olama? I didn't know what it was at first. He explained that it was a container. He explained that you can run this locally on your own computer and avoid that connection to the database. And you know, when as you know, like when you log in to the application like a Chat GPT or Gemini and a Claude, actually stores your conversation in a database. So that way, like if you were to say something to it that may be proprietary to your company, that goes into the database and is used for training. And you can see it spilling over into other people's conversations.
Yeah.
So, but if you were to programmatically, like maybe hit an API that is connected to that LLM and ask it a question, you will completely sever the connection to that database. So you can talk to it, ask it questions, and you will have no fear of it actually storing that information because the LLM does not store your information.
So where does the context stored? Is it cached to your local memory? Is it to your local machine?
In Olama,
Yeah.
it
So if I
yeah.
programmatically hit the API where it's
Mhm.
just a response, I get what you okay. So I get what's going on here. So you're sending a request to the server for it to respond, but it doesn't cache the request locally on the server where the LLM lives anymore.
Right.
But how do you maintain context if you send multiple requests?
You know what? So I went to Microsoft and they were explaining how Copilot works.
Yeah.
Maybe different for other LLMs, but the way the way he explained, I gotta remember the guy's name. It was for Trabaja Tech. But they had an event there at Microsoft, and the presenter was talking about how Copilot, you can run a command, like it won't remember your conversation. So if you talk about something like, say, oh, the passage above, what did you think about it? Or can you fix the passage above? It wouldn't be able to keep that context unless you pass in some parameters. So I wish I could demonstrate it. I don't have that available at the moment.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty powerful. If you can programmatically just hit the API and get that, that does. I see how that severs the connection, but to
Yeah.
me also, it'd be really cool if I could connect that to my own data source.
I think you can. I believe it's something that you are able to do, especially with because you also have like instances of like a chat GPT, but specifically for a company. So when I went to Visa 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
On their offices, I asked the one of the consultants there about how you know how they secure people's information, how they because they're dealing with PII data, personal identifiable information, and credit cards, people's phone numbers, names, um, social security numbers. How do you make sure that the information that you put into your AI model doesn't spill out? They have their own instance of ChatGPT, but it's trained off of Visa's information.
So yeah, that makes sense. So at my last company, we had our own instance of ChatGPT, and I hit the API programmatically through Python because I had to do like a data catalog,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to create the own context myself. The only thing is, so it's tier based and it's request based pricing.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, so the issue with that was it kind of worked because I could set the context per request where I didn't need that much context. I was just sending really long prompts.
Yeah,
But it'd be like the only reason I'm asking, I didn't know this existed, and it'd be very interested to know how
I'm
if
gonna put
I
the
could
link in the chat.
cache, yeah, if I could cache those responses locally, then I would never use ChatGPT. I just use my own API version of it and keep all my proprietary data myself. But I feel like if they want to make money off that service, they why would they do that? Why would they let you do?
Mm-hmm. So let's see. I have some comments in the chat. I know you said you had to leave, Marcus, but I appreciate you for staying on a little bit longer. But if you can have a little bit of time, can we answer a question? A
Sure.
question or two?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I have Charles Taylor says, here's where people miss the fact that AI is not doing anything on their own. Guaranteed, no AI is on its own. The AIs should be named the same name of who owns it. I don't know what you mean. Maybe named after the person itself?
Well, I mean, I think people do have the misconception that it's thinking. And we have to put
Mm-hmm.
thinking like in a, like from a computer science perspective, it's brute forcing by association and classification.
Okay.
So it's identifying and classifying a thing to a certain degree of confidence interval. Um, and that is all. So like it's not in the same sense like a human. It's not a person like thinking. It's we are. It's like a post office where we have a million people that can run really fast, and all these threads are just classifying things in buckets, and they're getting more specific um, with each. That's how natural language processing works, which is what LLMs are based off of. So it's not doing its own thing, and it's actually, William can tell you, it's not. It's only as good as your data infrastructure. So that's the problem with AI. Like the
Mm-hmm.
companies see, they want to just jump to AI, and they don't want to get the data. It's only as good as the data you train it on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have data engineers and very good ones, your AI is gonna suck. And people are
Yeah.
it's gonna suck, and people are gonna believe it's good, which is the worst.
Yep. And that's the interesting thing about it. There was a lawsuit that was going on a while back, some years ago. A woman, so they had a plastic surgery company that would do plastic surgery on women, like on their chest area.
Hmm.
right? Try to be appropriate for LinkedIn,
Gotcha.
but but they were doing some breast augmentation surgery, and they would take pictures, and the client signed a waiver. Hey, I'm okay with you taking pictures of my chest, and so that way they can show it off to like their future clients or something like that,
Like marketing purposes.
marketing
This
purposes.
is what we. This is our previous work we did. We're proud of it. Here you go.
Right. So they took these pictures, and in the metadata, it showed up on Google
Oh gosh.
because it just went off like people they just stole the data and went off into Google's infrastructure, right? And now if you did a Google search using some certain keywords that hit that metadata, uh, it showed her chest, and they had a lawsuit and lost. So it's extremely important in order for you to clean your data before you just put it up there. I have one more question, but before I do that, I have a special guest coming up as well. I have one of my mentors, got Professor Black Ops.
What's
How
going
you
on,
doing?
man? I'm
How you
going all
doing?
right, man. I'm doing pretty good.
That's good, man. I wanted to introduce you to Marcus.
What's up, Marcus?
Hey, how you doing, Professor?
I'm doing all right, man.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I got one more question that came up, or one more comment from you. PBO says ChatGPT is getting FedRAMP certified for government work soon. PBO, do you want to kind of go into that?
Yeah, fair rent means they have 3POs like the big companies, Arthur Anderson, and reviews it. And like y'all said, it's going to have its own instance of it. So for government work, they want to make sure theoretically that they can lock it down. So they want to make sure it's certified and to be able to do that work. So if it comes out, they can sue the 3POs. so so from that standpoint, I specialize in fair work, big systems. So yeah, so I thought that was interesting because, like Marcus said, that's how you get the big money. We fair rent approved. We can do government work. Just hand over all the money to us. We got you. It's certified. Sign on up. So I thought
Yeah.
that was interesting. So
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I got another one. Said these guys did not spend all this money on something that is going out on its own. Don't be a sheep. All Alk
no,
your
I,
stuff.
All your
I
stuff is in
don't
the
know.
I think
cloud.
the
So
K was an accident.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, all your stuff is in the cloud and safe. Wink, wink. Wake up, America. Okay, so there is some truth to what he's saying. A lot of the stuff is in the cloud. Um,
Oh,
they did
facts.
spend they did spend a lot of money on this. Marcus already said that these people are capitalists. They trying to recoup on their money.
No, facts.
Um,
from this country.
yeah. Shout out to Justin. Appreciate you coming in, and shout out to Austin. First LinkedIn comment that I have ever had on
Oh, really?
For the Videos channel. LinkedIn comment.
Okay.
So yeah, because my first time ever going live on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, probably maybe one of the more politically charged comments, politically charged topics, but not going too much into the politics side. More so talking about like the data, the AI, and maybe some of the reasonings behind corporations and how they make decisions.
But like you said before, I think Tesla really was an AI company posing as a car company, posing as a tech company. Because if you got the data on your car, where your movement, where it's at, and we were doing it with shout out to Engineering Cannabis, who actually does AI for a living. It's taking your picture, it's loading it up. So then we were talking about, okay, if the car, because it was on iRobot, if the car has to make a decision to run out the road or hit somebody, you got to program it to make that decision. So how do you program that?
I
So
mean, I think
because
that's what happened at Google. Like, some lady got hit because California was the first place they had self-driving cars. They were testing them out.
I thought that was Phoenix, but go ahead. You probably right. It was Phoenix or Cali, but go ahead. Yep, yep.
Cali. But they had an issue where a woman was jaywalking, and the thing was, it didn't consider someone breaking it from the at that point from the LLM's perspective. She shouldn't have been walking because
I thought it had in there. I thought she stepped out so close it couldn't stop.
Yeah,
But
I remember the story happening, and they said, the laws just didn't consider human error or how many
I,
different ways.
I, I, I might be wrong, but I thought they did consider that as part. You had to think they considered jaywalking. I just think she stepped out too early where there wasn't enough room to stop. But once again, I could be wrong for that.
No, you might be right. I just remember it was a pretty big story, and
Oh, it was huge.
they were trying to pull back
They
based
did.
off.
That set it back about 5 years.
Yeah,
Because I think she died, didn't she? I thought she died.
it was bad.
Yeah. I thought
It
she died.
was.
So yeah, that set cars back. But if you do the data, I did some research on truck automation because I really think that's really going to be the first driver. So they were actually, with all the data, you're actually safer with self-driving trucks and really cars because it's not going to speed, it's not going to get tipsy, it's not going to hurry up.
Yeah.
So technically, and really, they did the research. If you get self-driving cars for Uber, 80% of the charge is you and your insurance. If you change it over to product insurance, you cut the price by 80%.
Mm.
So then the question, when I don't want to take it off track, is you wouldn't own a car, you would lease a car like you do cable, because it would just come and get you when you need it, right? And drive you to work, drop you off, and go do other things. Because that's what Elon's pushing for Tesla, right? You go to work and the Tesla go out and make money doing Uber, and come back. That's one of his money making things he's trying to do. So,
Mark.
That doesn't sound too bad, actually.
oh, fact. And for
But-
me, see, I'm twice older than you. I had to take my mom keys, man. I'm old. My son come to get me right now. I can't see at night, man. So I need a self-driving car, man. PBO don't want to be waiting on people when you get old.
yeah, man, that's
But go
that's a
ahead,
good
go ahead.
point. And then a lot of people. This is another point that I thought was really interesting about what you just said, PBO, is that, and also Marcus. I know you said 30 minutes. I want to be respectful of your time, but you can stay on longer. I just want to be respectful.
Okay.
But okay.
Yeah, I'll probably head out, man. I got to catch up. I got to start working on some stuff. But it was a pleasure. Hopefully,
Appreciate you, Marcus, man. I sub in for Marcus till my ride come in. I got Marcus's back.
y'all got it. Y'all got it. Hey, thanks, William. See y'all. Checking
I
out.
appreciate it, Marcus. Yeah, man, it's a great brother right there. So, yeah, a point that you said, PBO, that I really agreed with, which was the money making aspect about how it can just come in and leave, and then it's actually cheaper. Some people do not make that much money, right?
Thanks.
And getting Uber can be a hindrance on them making more money. Because let's say you make, here in Atlanta, the minimum wage is I think around $8, $7.25. $7.25. Let's say you made $10, maybe let's say even more generous, let's say $15 an hour here in Atlanta. There's a huge difference between $7.25 and $15. Not really doing that well, but if you were to pay for an Uber here in Atlanta, even just to go, let's say 10 miles, could potentially cost you in between $25 to $30 just for that person to pick you up and then take you there. And it's even more expensive on iPhone, on Apple, than it is on Android, because iPhone or the App Store charges more money than it does on the Android App Store. So you'll see like things like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Uber, Lyft, all of that is going to be more expensive on the Apple iPhone than it would be on any other Android device because of that. Just because of the fees. You got to pay fees, taxes, and everything. So if you were to take out some of those, you said that it would go for your insurance. That could be a game changer right there.
It is. That's the game changer, and that's what they're trying to get to. Two ways is you wouldn't own a car, and so you can actually, that would be more feasible because I think you would lease it like you would do cable. And product insurance, because people don't realize I work for a Fortune 500 insurance company. We can easily predict death. So we can take, because the car is going to drive exactly the same way all the time. So you can pretty much have insurance on how many times your car is going to actually delete somebody. Let's be YouTube friendly. So yeah, so if you Google that, that's out there. So they were kind of calculating when that gets here. Then Elon actually brought that up where the Tesla will make money because it will go out and do Uber for you while you were at work and
Mm-hmm.
and pay for itself, right? So that's two or three different ways to do that.
Yep. So one thing that you just brought up as well, we're gonna go back into the AI portion of it, but
Mm-hmm.
the AI is baked into the self-driving car, so it's a
Yeah.
little bit. And then we're also talking about Tesla, Elon Musk, same kind of topic, but a little bit different, right? Talking about.
Because if you go because Tesla, you forgot he did the Tesla bot that looks like Sonny. He's got AI or at least machine learning in the Tesla bot. He expects to sell more Tesla bots than cars in the next 5 years. And
Mm-hmm.
the Tesla bot's supposed to be like 20 grand.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to share my screen right quick. Let's see. So we have a video. I don't know if it's real or not. I have a video. I've seen flying cars before,
Mm-hmm.
but they have on ABC News put this out on the 19th of February. So few like a week or two ago. Electric flying car makes first vertical flight. It's a California company says. Can you hear the sound?
Okay.
Okay.
That's not real.
All right. So you said it's not real.
I don't think that's real.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see the video.
The reason why is that's levitating, man. We don't have anything levitating. The only thing you get close to that is a Harrier jump jet. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen anything close to that.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this.
No, I don't think
Well,
that's
like
real.
this per se.
But if you do they got drone cabs that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's closer to that. But look, there's no wings on that. I don't think physically. I don't think that's possible. But I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I mean, there's no wings, so how are you getting lift?
Yeah, that is true because aerodynamically you have to
Yeah,
have wings,
right.
but then also it needs to be set up for that body style as well.
Yeah,
Like they say that it's impossible for humans to be able to fly, right? Even if you put wings on a person, you know, like or if you flap your arms hard enough, you had to flap it so
yeah,
hard and long just to be able to catch up to where your arm, like you wouldn't even have arms anymore.
yeah. So yeah,
But this has no wings or anything like that. So
and you would see some kind of propulsion for it to get some kind of lift. I mean, you see barely a little smoke. That looks like it's
yeah,
AI generated. But I mean, for me.
let me share this because I never.
But
Is this real?
if you do uh, cabs that are the new cabs that can be drones, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is the name of the company right here.
Mhm.
Anyway, PBO, you've worked in the government for many years. Well, not necessarily for the government, but in a government contract.
Correct. I was working
So,
consultant at the government.
what are your thoughts on the recent layoffs in the government space?
For me, historically, it always swings, meaning they go consultants and a party come in, then they're like, let's bring some people in because it's too expensive. Then they get there, then they be like, we need more expertise. But I guess just to switch it up a little bit, that's the Project 2025 playlist. So for me, I read it. If you read Project 2025, Republicans has been historically for smaller government. So the
Mm-hmm.
Heritage Foundation been talking about this for 30 years. People think it's new. They've been planning this for 30 years. So for me, I knew once he won, I knew that plan was gone. But I have to admit, it's surprising me because he's going to fire 200,000 people just on GP. I didn't think they would go that deep. But if you look at Project 2025, they always said smaller government.
Mm.
So if you look at that, that's he's just doing a playlist. People think it's Trump and that. No, that the Project 2025 been on out for 30 years. They're implementing that plan.
You're right. So, and I also think that with the layoffs, this is a question I'm gonna ask you. With the layoffs, do you believe that there are going to be some jobs, not all, but some of the jobs are going to be completely like removed and then replaced with an AI chatbot or an AI model of some sort?
Yeah, but when we say completely remove, we talked a little bit about this last night. Is if I need 50 call salesmen, I actually was in a meeting 10 years ago where they were just talking about moving chatbots. They weren't going to remove everybody. We can go from 50 to we could cut that in half, right? Then as the
Mm-hmm.
chatbot gets better, you start releasing people, right? Because the chatbot right now is, I mean, you see the commercial, you ask a couple questions, you get frustrated, and you start saying customer service, right? You start screaming in the phone. But I think it's going to get better. So I don't think they will be completely eliminated. Now, I think a lot of call service departments could be cut by 50 and 60% in the next 4 years as the chatbot gets better and you train it better and it gets more because you need some domain knowledge in that. Even for a help
Mm-hmm.
desk, if it doesn't know Linux well, you got to train it, right? Then what version of Linux you do? And your company, you do certain builds and certain things, so you got to train a chatbot on how you do business. So I think it'll get there, but I don't think it's going to be as quick as people think. Now it's going to reduce your workforce.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's what they're doing now. They firing what 10, 15%, 20% of the government, right? So for me, that falls right in line with machine learning, robotics, and AI. So
Yep. And one thing I do want to say is that there are some optimizations that could be made to improve the government, such as like I was trying to get a tag the other day for a car, and you had like you can go to the kiosk and the
yeah,
kiosk replaces some people, but then
100%.
I'm thinking, oh okay, well, what happens if there's an issue with you trying to get your tag? Let's say if you let's say if there's an issue with maybe you have a ticket or something like that that you have to pay. Your ticket has to be paid, but you have to take 72 hours before it gets noticed throughout the system. So why does it take 72 hours if your payment goes instantaneously? It takes 72 hours, and now we got to check to see. We got to have a whole bunch of people checking to see if that actually went through
Well,
correctly and all this other kind of stuff.
there's two reasons for that. Number one is a lot of states earn money. They earn it. They put it in a SWIFT account. They get interest on your money for 3 days. You don't. You might think that a lot. I work for the Department of Revenue for the state of Indiana. We had $10 billion in the account earning interest for 3 days. That's a lot of money. You can pay a whole damn staff off of that money. Number two,
Mm.
B2B, you know this. Some of those systems are antiquated and they're patching them together. So I might need an SFTP to this system, then XML to this other system, right? Because we have older systems that we were trying to modernize too, right? So I think that's some of the things we were working at when I don't want to say too much of Department of Revenue, but we were stitching systems together, right? So part of that stitching is you put an account and you got an XML over here because one system will pay and some system will do accrual and one is for customer service. Now we're trying to get one totally automated system. And you just step in and you look out there, they tell you they bought an integrated tax system for a crazy amount of money, but that modernization is coming. But I think that's why sometimes you get that 72 hours. Those are older systems that they're stitching together before they're modernized.
Yeah. Well, PBO, I agree with you. I think that there's going to be some optimizations that's going to happen.
Well, we're doing that's
And
IT. We've been doing that for 10 years. People say like it's new. That's what the cloud is. We can spin up our own VMs, Kubernetes, pipelines, right? We putting stuff, testing it, running full test cycle. So we've been doing that for 10 years. People talk, you talking like it's new, B2B. We've been doing that for
well,
a decade.
well, this part is new, right? The AI chatbots and and the reason I bring up the Elon Musk chatbot is because of partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it could very I could have very well put Chat GPT
Mm-hmm.
could have replaced the government, but then now I'm talking about more so Elon Musk's
Mm-hmm.
chat bot because of the partnership he has with Doge and the government.
Max, if I pay 200 million, I need some special considerations. I got you elected for 200 million. Whatever he paid, but gave, I expect some. I expect to win some contracts behind the scenes for that. If you
Mm-hmm.
if you don't think it, you crazy, man. Some pre quo quo. If I help you get elected, I need some favors out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't spend my money. This ain't a charity case. Like my man said, this is capitalism. I think you should get something. If you get me elected, I'm gonna hook you up. So I okay.
Yeah. Yeah, PBO. Well, we are an hour in.
I'm about to
Uh,
jump off. My son's calling me. I appreciate it.
I
Thanks for
appreciate you,
having me.
PBO. Did you have
All
any
good.
final thoughts before? Oh, you got to go.
No,
Okay, I got
real
you.
quick, yeah, but you said it. AI is the future. I don't. We even talking about automation. I can't even talk. Doing that for a decade. So people talk like it's new. We've been doing that pipelines. I mean, I think it was more machine learning taking that step to AI. I think we can really talk about what that looks like. But we've been getting rid of. That's what IT does, right? We we computerize it to get rid of people. So this ain't anything new. We've been doing this for 30 years. When I got in IT, we created accounting system, client service system, trading. We done cut out a whole bunch of people. The problem is we just did it sector by sector over 4 or 5 years. Now we about to do 15 sectors at one time. So I think that's why everybody's freaking out. But I'm out. I appreciate you, man. Great stream.
Salute. Appreciate you, PBO. All right. So honestly, I think that was a great episode. First time on LinkedIn at the same time as YouTube. I had to sit up here and pay for StreamYard. Y'all know I've been doing OBS and my Zoom, but I had to come back to StreamYard because it does allow for you to go to several different destinations. So I thought that was a good feature. I think it would lend to more people being able to join who don't normally join the live streams, who may be interested in joining. Overall, I think it was a great topic. Try not to get too political, but more so on the AI and technology innovation type of angle. Let me go through some of the comments real quick before we head up out of here. I want to just give a huge shout out to Gail at Night. Just always helping me out, helping a brother out. Appreciate you. Appreciate you and all the work that you do. She put the Discord link in the chat. Shout out to Untitled. Thank you so much for tuning in. Charles Taylor says, is anyone responsible when an AI accidentally kills someone? Who pays the consequences? I believe it's the company that owns the car. Well, he said the AI. So the company that builds the AI, I believe, is going to be held responsible because they were the ones who faced a lawsuit when that woman was hit by the car. I've heard a lot of people getting hit by cars lately. Matter of fact, I'm sure you guys have seen the Delta planes and all the planes falling out of the sky more recently, or having issues with all these planes. These planes utilize AI, and you could potentially say that the AI could play a part in the planes crashing. It could also be machine failure. We don't know yet. But there have been some lawsuits that have been coming up because people are affected. Somebody has to pay this money. It is most likely going to be the company that is spending the money to train this AI model. There's a big propeller in the trunk and engine compartment. Yeah, I saw that. I'm looking at the chat at the thing now. Let me share my screen. I'm looking at that now to see. I do see the car from Elif, the flying car. So I do see it has like a whole bunch of holes in it so that way you could potentially fly with it. So it's not like a solid car. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. All right, so let's see. Unconditional Love says they'll become completely obsolete, some of the jobs. I believe so, and then they'll just get replaced with another type of job. I'm glad you said that most people don't know that money gains interest. That was a very good point. Did not know that myself. Well, I knew that, but not that that's the reason why the process is set up in a way to go slower so that way they can gain interest. I did not realize that. Yeah, the chatbot can do anything that you ask it to do. Computers are dumb. That's what they always say. Computers are dumb. They only do what you tell them to do. And you have to be good at telling it to do something, giving it instructions, because garbage in is garbage out. So, I want to give a huge shout out to all the people who are watching the live stream right now and all the people who will be watching the replay. Really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all the people in the chat. Shout out to all the people who have joined the panel. Thank you guys so much. I will be coming up with some more live streams on different topics, but right now I just had to talk about the AI and government jobs. I will be coming up with some more AI topics as well. I think this is a good topic, good trend to jump on. And overall, just happy that the BTB squad has come in strong. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I will see you all in the next one. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. And do not forget to build your billions.